Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. We have today Suchada and Navasit with us, and we have a very interesting question once again. So, talk about challenges. Come on, bring it on.
So we're going to talk about the fight or surrender. So my question is, what is the definition of surrender in a spiritual way?
Okay, surrender in a spiritual way. You know, we talk about that, for example, people ask me, how can I get in contact with my higher self? How can I stay in contact with my higher self? And one of the best way is to surrender to the higher self. And what I recommend is that when you wake up in the morning, you say something like that: I surrender to the divine within, or to God within, or goddess within, and ask him to guide me, or to tell me what I need to know. Another thing is protection, and to protect me. So when we work like this and we say that every morning, that means you allow the divine, the higher self, or whatever you want to call it, which is part of you, to guide you in this lifetime. So that the surrendering act is actually not to surrender to anybody or anything outside of you. And remember, we talked also in astrology about that imagine our soul is like a balloon. And each personality that is through different reincarnations is like a little bubble squeezed out of that big balloon that is here, your personality in this 3D realm here that we are. So when I surrender to an aspect of the higher self or the soul or whatever you want to call it, it means that you allow the bigger part, the big balloon, that is actually fed with the experience of all your past life and all that is, because that soul, that big balloon, is again connected to another even bigger balloon that will be the higher, the next level of the oversoul, we can call. And so you will receive information from the source directly, and not from anybody outside, physically or even mentally outside of you. So, for example, brainwash cannot hold on to you in the same way, because you have a mechanism within to tell you the truth. This is also part of when you start to listen to your heart. And we talked about that before. The heart has brain cells. And actually, science has recently discovered that we have a fifth heart chamber. And in my opinion, the fifth heart chamber is that what is the connection to the divine, to the soul. But of course, this is not scientific proven. So you make what you want out of this. So once you allow this force or this energy that is you on a higher level. Oh, I could explain like this again that everybody really understands. I use sometimes the sample, like when you wake up in the morning, you kind of come from somewhere into this body. You can imagine that, like if you go out in the morning and you sit in the car and you ignite the car and you drive off. The car cannot drive by itself. The body cannot function by itself. The moment the spirit is out, then we have the body is dead, right? This is what we call death. So once we are in the car, we have an option, because there is somewhere a helicopter, what we could call the higher self is the helicopter. And the helicopter up there has the overview and see all the roads. So when you go in the car in the morning, you can turn on the radio that connects you with the helicopter and ask for guidance, because then you are not stuck in traffic jams, or for example, or guided the fastest way. So this is a sample, a metaphor to illustrate that a little bit better. So when you are allowing the higher self, surrendering to that higher self to guide you, that is like when you're in the car turning on the radio to the helicopter guidance. And this is all it is. You still have the free will to do what you want, and you will see that that surrendering aspect does not limit you just to a little narrow road. There are always many different kind of options. You can also call it the inner voice, that you actually, in fact, you know very clearly and very well all the time what is right and what is not, and what it is you should do. I said sometimes just ask, what would love do now? And sometimes you have to fight. And to surrender to your higher self does not mean that you have to stop to fight.
What do you mean fight? Fight with some...
You ask about fighting and surrender. Fighting and surrender does not exclude themselves, because sometimes when you surrender to a higher aspect of yourself and you are faced with a challenge, then it is time to fight for what is right. That does not mean that when you surrender, you don't have to fight anymore. In the contrary, sometimes even more.
But you mean fight with others or fight with what?
It depends. It can be fighting, for example, fighting an idea, or for example, if you have inside, like you have an urge. Let's talk about food. That's the easiest thing to understand. So you have the urge to eat something that you know exactly it's not going to be good for you. If you eat that, or if you drink alcohol or too much, whatever, you know it's poison for your body. So you have to fight the urge to do that. And this is an inner fight, right? Or for example, you say you have been a smoker and you finally managed to quit smoking. And quit smoking is a fight on itself already. But the moment you quit, all your bodies that have been with you and in the parties and smoking, or drinking and smoking and whatever, they try to get you back. They don't want to lose you, because if somebody quits it, because they all know that it's not really a good habit, they don't want to be confronted with that. So they try to invite you, oh, come take just one glass or just one cigarette, and it doesn't matter what, all this kind of stuff. Then you have to fight the urge to do that, or to fight, not to fight that person to kind of violate them or something, but to say no. And this is the fight is more or less within you. But it can even be that it comes to a physical fight. I mean, we are not in this situation here in the moment, but people out there in the world, what's going on? They are forced to fight, like to rescue the children, to fight.
So
you say?
Navasit, please go ahead.
So, for example, if I have a bad habit,
Yes.
like I'm not the diligent person, so
Yeah.
I have to try to be not to be lazy, right?
Yes.
Something.
Yeah. Like that, you make your routine. For example, what I'm doing, I'm also tending to be lazy. And you know, when you're alone and you have nobody driving you to do that, and you don't have to be there at a certain time. So I make it a discipline to get up early in the morning to feed the ducks and the chicken myself, even if I have staff and I could tell them to do it. But I can see the difference also what it makes, because I put more, like I put fresh leaves, like salad leaves. I cut bananas and chop them and put that under the fresh food we give them. And what we had a couple years ago, in a row, we had eggs that had, the shell was not solid. And then the ducks sit on top of it, the egg crashed, and they started to eat their own eggs. That was a big disaster. But now I add leaves and all this, so they have potassium, they have vitamins and everything. And my ducks now, the eggs are strong and good. So I have to overcome to fight my laziness, and I have, believe me, I have to do that more or less every morning. Because I'm not really an early morning person. So, but I do it because I know that this kind of discipline keeps me going. So when you're lazy, then make yourself like something like a discipline that you're gonna do. Suchada, you wanted to ask something before.
Yeah. I was to ask about what about maybe some set of believing
Yes.
or some, some habit is not like habits, but the way we do things, something like that, like
Be educated to do things in a certain way. That's what you mean.
yeah, or expectation from other people, like yeah, about that. How then when should we know when to fight or when to surrender, or what is
You know
the
exactly. Just listen again to your heart. Does it feel right if you do this? You know, so many times we do things to satisfy others because it's like in the tradition, in the culture, in the whatever, that we have to do this and we have to do that, but we don't really feel good with it.
but some circumstances we got pushed. Like some people want us, or the universe send us some circumstances, like keep pushing us to do something, but
Yeah.
we are like
Well, then you have really to figure out if this is good for you or not. Again, like generally human beings are lazy, and they go the way of the least resistance. But sometimes if you are on the spiritual way, and I also said that many times, if you really go on a spiritual way, it is not the way of least resistance. It is not the way of laziness. And you have, in a way, you have to find your lower self, in a way, the kind of the inner lazy or dirty or whatever it is, part of you that is always seducing you to give in, not to give up, to give in, to do things that actually are not good for you. Like again, to eat something that you know that you pay afterwards, or drink or whatever, that you pay afterwards with your health.
maybe with the circumstances that I got pushed, I would interpret that I would have to be more like courage to
Yes.
push back or to take action or do something, right?
To be yourself, to be your authentic self, and not do things because somebody else wants you to do it. I think that's the main discrimination that we have to look at. Is that really what I want to do? I mean, if you are going through a phase of shifting, of changing into something else, now just imagine you are coming to a situation where you have to take on a new job. and you have a new job, and many things in the new job are completely strange for you. Maybe in the moment you don't know how to do it and you have to ask others. So this is a moment that you have to rely on others and kind of surrender to the situation. And then afterwards you work a little while on this job, then you start to understand what it's all about, and then you start to develop your own method, how you do it. So you become more efficient, you become more clear about what it is, what you have to do, and you start to make your own plan in a way how to do things. Many jobs today, when people are in a corporate situation, whatever, you're just simply a slave, and you have a work schedule. You do this at 8 o'clock, this 9 o'clock, this 10 o'clock, and it's very boring, and you have nothing really that you can choose. And if you are in a job like this that you just have to follow orders, maybe it is time in a spiritual development, when you become more and more your real self, to step out from a place where you have absolutely no way to make your own decisions in any way, but just kind of be a puppet on the string of some boss. Then it's time to go and cut these strings and start to do something of yourself, that you start to feel the challenge of life.
I see. You just answer my question. Because
He
I
has to-
Okay,
offer a new job.
okay,
Yeah, I just got offer from a new job,
okay,
and I'm thinking I'm making a decision now.
yeah,
And for me, it's like I'm a little bit confused because in the current job, normally my personality, I'm not like a active person or alert person, and I am not like the initiate person, right?
yes,
And my current boss always not order me, but he just want me to think by myself, to create
yes, yeah,
everything by myself. And the new job, the one that they just offer me, they just want me to be like the chief, just only one person in that department. So it means that I have to be like
you have to be creative.
yeah. So I'm thinking that I can do that or not, because it's kind of challenge to me
Yeah,
to
but
change
that's
my
good.
personality.
Every challenge make you grow, and whenever you have a challenge, then please, if you are on a spiritual path and you really want to expand yourself to be more for the world also, then accept challenges. And
Okay.
it's not about fighting against something that is on your line, but it's to fight your kind of inner laziness, your inner 3D consciousness. We can say that everything has to be how it was, because it will not. You will be, this year anyway, will be surprised. Our whole history, everything will fall, even our calendar and much more, So we will see then if it is good. Fight yourself in a way, fight your inner negative side or lazy side. It's so difficult with words. I don't want to say negative, because negative is something that we need. It's like positive and negative, and the electricity, we need the two poles, otherwise we have no energy. But you know what I mean when I say the negative intentions, the laziness, the part within us that just resists to go forward. And this is again, we can say, a habit from living so long in 3D and always being slaves. And I mean, we have always been slaves of the workforce. If you don't work, you don't get the money to buy your stuff. If you're not belonging to the top-notch 5% or whatever, then you have to do that. You're part of the masses. We don't belong to those who just have. So we need to do something, but that is giving us the option to develop our true spirituality. If we start to accept challenges and fight the lower instinct within ourselves, and I'm not talking about having no fun, okay? Having fun is very important, and to laugh and to go out and have fun. And even then, once in a while, okay, drink a glass of wine, even 2 glasses, but don't make it a habit that it becomes an addiction. But it is important that you also have fun in your life, that you have your friends, that you go out, that you enjoy life, that you go out in nature, hiking, and maybe having a campfire or something like this that makes you happy, you know? But not just crashing in front of the TV. That is, again, you don't fight, you just crash in front of the TV and let things happen. And again, this is for so many people, because the challenge today is to resist the system. Because the system that is kind of making us so tired, so worn out, that we do not have any energy anymore to pursue a spiritual path. Because if you pursue a spiritual path and take back your power, you become a spiritual warrior, surrender to the higher self and not to the state, to the religion, to whatever is outside. You become a person that starts to think for yourself. And then you cannot be an easy slave for them anymore to do their labor. So that's the fight that is happening in the moment. That is about taking back your power, surrender to the self, to the divine within, and fight whatever around you tries to pull you off that journey.
Okay. So in which circumstance should we let go?
Again, you discriminate. Is it good for my spiritual journey? Is it good for me or not? And then you decide. You know, sometimes, for example, if you have people that are in a different consciousness, level, they not wake up, so you can see very clearly that they are not on the same consciousness level. With those people, there's no use to fight at all. It just let go, because it is like playing ping pong. It's a discussion, you know, the other person is just throwing the ball back to you and again, but there is no result. There are people who are on a similar consciousness level as we are. And when we have a problem, when we have something we want to discuss or we have questions, we can talk with each other, right? But if you have a person who is in a complete different energy frequency, has a complete different consciousness level, discussions will not be fruitful. Because they have their clear opinion, this is like this and this, and they are not able to see further. Because you cannot walk in their shoes. It's like the shoe is too small for you. Also the opposite, shoes can be way too big for you. You cannot walk in them either. But it's very important that you always, and kinesiology. I mean, your body will always help you and tell you. But I agree with the question that you have Navasit in the moment about the job. Your kinesiology might not work in the moment because you are in a kind of negative state, because you are confused what you should do. So that is the moment that it's really good to maybe ask somebody to help you, or ask other opinions. And then, I mean, the constant fight is to overcome within the laziness And, you know, it's like the heaviness that drag us down that is all around us, because the mass consciousness around us is not very spiritual. Even though if the consciousness has shifted a lot, but it's still, especially in big cities like, you know, also like Bangkok area, the energy is not very good. And in a way, we can also say you constantly have to fight the energy there, that it does not drag you down. But anyway, this shift that we are in the moment, and you will see this year will bring so much more revelations, and it has already started in many ways. And so it is very important to always be connected with that higher self, to make sure that you are guided. Because again, when I sit in my car and I drive, I do not see around the next corner. So when I walk in this body, I don't see further. But when I am contacting the helicopter that flies up there, then I get information that me as walking down here cannot see. So I need guidance in that moment. And that guidance again is listening to your heart. Or if you are not sure, try to do kinesiology. And if you are not sure with that, either ask somebody, like you can ask Suchada, or opposite, Suchada can ask you. Because if you are not emotionally involved in the question, the kinesiology is much easier. So you can ask, you know, you can write down a question on a piece of paper and fold it and give it to somebody, hold it. Can you test this? Is this good for me or is it not good for me? So you test, this is good for Navasit, and you see immediately if you go forward or backwards. So you can assist, because the other person does not even know the question you ask. And you know from Masure Moto with the water crystal that only writing a word has already an effect. But it's very important that the person is not emotionally involved. This is always the trick.
Okay, next to the another question, that so it is surrendering letting go?
Yes and no. You know, letting go is also another word we can use, is give up. You know, to let go something, to give up something. And in the word give up, it's actually more clear, give up. So you can ask your higher self, or if it's good, if to give up a problem and say, look, for example, when you do that in the morning, I surrender to my higher self. I say, and tell me what I need to know. So I have today a problem. Should I let go or should I give up? Please guide me. And then you will have things that are coming up, ideas, or you might hear something outside of you that even is not, you know, the classic sample that you sit in a restaurant and the guy on the neighbor table says something exactly what you need to hear. Or you go in a bookstore, for example, and you walk into a book that gives you the answer, just the title of the book, for example, you know. You don't even need to read the book. And so you can ask for guidance in that way. And in that is give up, is meaning, or let go is meaning give the problem to somebody else, because from the car perspective, you cannot solve it, but the helicopter perspective can see the solution better. So it's not like surrender is not, it's neither really give up nor let go. Surrender is sometimes the opposite, that you have to fight for something. This is the opposite of letting go. And sometimes it's letting go. And you know, every time when you let go, something new is coming in. Because there is no vacuum here. When I give something, when I take something, the room is afterwards filled. I mean, I can say the sample, like if I take my bottle here and I put it on the table, that piece of air that was before there is now gone, and there is my bottle. So there is no vacuum. Every time you move something to somewhere else, you let go of something, something else is immediately coming into that space. Space is not empty. That's maybe difficult to understand in the moment, but start to pay attention. The moment when you give up something, let go, give up, whatever, something new is immediately coming into that space. So it's always going forward. You're never, in a way, there is always a new challenge coming up. It's not stopping. Some challenges are easy, some are more difficult, but that's what life is about. That's why we are here. We are not here for resting. And some people say, don't sleep too much. You can sleep afterwards, because some say you can sleep when you're dead. It's not really true, but anyway, it's a metaphor that it means that we are here to act, to do something, to spread our light, to act, interact with our life. And every challenge, we don't have to search for it. It's coming for us. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And whatever's coming, face it. And that's for you. That's why it's here for you. Face it and do whatever you feel is right. And this is, again, we come to the topic mistake we talked before. So if you have a challenge, you cannot make a mistake. You just miss to take the solution yet. So you have maybe to approach it 2-3 times, what we make mistakes. But in fact, we just miss yet to take it, and we miss yet to complete the challenge. So have many mistakes.
Yeah. So for me, I think that I should not miss the chance, the opportunities. So I always grab the opportunities that coming to me.
Yeah.
Without consideration, you know what I mean? Without wait or ask my heart.
Yeah, you know, the beauty is actually that human beings are different, and they approach a challenge different, and they make different mistakes. That's what makes life interesting. Just imagine everybody would be the same, but that's actually what they try to do, to make everything uniform, you know, everything the same, so that everybody thinks the same. That's everybody becoming half cyborg, half computer, whatever. And the beauty of life is that we are individuals and can face challenges our way. And the importance is also that you accept that you accept that other people have the right to face a challenge in their own way. And maybe it needs some time to really understand what that challenge is all about. And you maybe have 3, 4, 5 different jobs till you really get there where you want to go. And have learned your lesson enough that you are free to move on to something different. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah. A bit. But I need you to explain more.
Well, the thing is like this. Once you have a topic totally integrated, it loses the attraction for you. Like if you have done something so many times that you can do it to perfection, you don't need to do it anymore. You need to step out. So for example, if you have a job and you are at that job at the point where you have really understood everything, you've done it right, and then it starts to become routine and in that way also boring. It becomes only a paycheck. Then you have to go. Then you have either to take on study something different. You maybe go and then learn online something, or you look for opportunities, or you talk to your higher self and say, look, I'm kind of really bored now. It's not what I want to do anymore. Help me to find something better. That suits me better, that is better for my evolution, spiritual evolution, for my moving forward in this life, and it will happen. And then you have to have the courage to jump off, the courage to quit.
But for me, for this situation, the challenging for me is like is the topic of the work, because currently I work in the insurance topic, right?
Yes.
But I don't like it. But the new job is like about the investment and the bond or subject like that. So I prefer that subject.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting for me.
Take on a challenge. Take on the challenge until you see that everything's shifting again, and then there will be a new challenge. We have to see through something. You can only see through it if you do it. You know, I mean, if I want to be a baker, I have to go there and learn how to make a bread and how to make patisserie and whatever, and cookies and whatever. And once I know it, I can step out and I can go and open a restaurant, for example. But before I can do that, I need to know the basic. I need to have a foundation. So this is good. Go into a new challenge, go into a new experience, and you will see after a certain time or with a certain experience, you might not like that so much anymore either, and you feel that it's time to move on.
I got it. So back to the question, how do we know when to keep pushing or when to surrender to a challenge? So,
well, first of all, when you're really bored, it's time to move on, to push. When you're not satisfied anymore, generally when it's in your life, you know it, you simply know it. It's very easy. It's very easy. If you follow your inner guidance, you know immediately if this is a challenge to take on or not. You know immediately if this is something like there is a lower consciousness involved, that it does no use to fight because there is nothing to fight. Or if it's something like this that you have to confront and really look at, just trust whatever comes up. You know, that kind of knowledge, that depends very much if you are connected with the higher self, with the heart, there is no question, because you know what is good for you.
Okay. So I will write on the paper and give to Suchada and
yeah, try it.
Interesting. Let's try.
Yeah, but you know, you just don't trust yourself yet enough. That's your problem.
That's my problem.
Yeah, but you know exactly. Should I not? You know that you should. So this is the next step, is to go into your trust and to start to do things because you know you have to.
Yes. As you know that in my birth chart that I have like in sun in the Libra.
Yeah, I know.
So kind of hesitate.
Yeah, should I not? Should I not? Oh, la. Yeah, but you also know that nothing stands still in your horoscope. That is just in your birth horoscope. But after Libra, we have another sign coming up. And you know what it is too.
Yeah.
So go into that topic of Scorpio. So check it out, go into your progression and look what's up. Because you cannot stick and stay with your birth horoscope the whole way. Of course, this is your underlying blueprint that shows, but there is movement inside. You have somewhere you come from and you have somewhere to go to. And from somewhere to start out, you have a path to go, and the path will show different topics that come up. Because it is a very, very stupid excuse that actually many people have. Oh, I'm born in the sign of this, and I'm this, and I'm that, and because of this, I cannot, blah, blah, blah. This is the most stupid excuses, but I hear them very often. And this is kind of the people who are really not connected to their higher self. They're connected to something static. So you know that you have to overcome that, because when you have a challenge in your horoscope that shows that you have to work with it, I'm not letting you go, you know. I'm gonna challenge you. Good girl, Suchada, you too. Just go ahead, we challenge him.
Very challenging these few weeks.
Poor guy. You're standing towards, you have two tough women. So fight or surrender. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so the last question, how can we comprehend and interpret the main topic of our challenge?
Okay, one is to see the challenge is also like we can do that with the horoscope. You see the main challenge in your life, what you have to go, what is coming towards you, but it's also, it's always around you. Even you might not know the final challenge of your life, but this doesn't matter because it's like a step by step going forward. You don't need to really know the goal. Like, for example, if you sign up for university and you study law or whatever, then you don't worry so much about what you are learning in the last year. You start in year one and you go step by step forward, and you are kind of you receive all the tuition that you need step by step. And that's in life too. So some people do know more clearly about what is their life goal and what is the main topic, but most people really don't. And even those who think they know, they're very often mistaken because things are shifting and changing all the time. So I think it's much more important to face a challenge the moment it appears. And not to worry so much about a main topic of the challenge, but what is appearing in our daily life. You know, it's sometimes it's very easy to focus on a big goal. But what we stumble is always the little challenges in between, the little things in the daily life. This is the main challenge. And if you take step by step, like again, overcome your laziness or fight an urge to eat something that you know it's not going to be good for you, or whatever it is, those little things, they are mainly more important than having a big goal somewhere out there. It's like when you walk, imagine you walk the road and you focus on a tower far away. When there is a stone on the road, you stumble. So what we do is like we look down, we have this near surrounding like visible to us, and we can still look at the tower once in a while to orient ourselves that we are still on the right path. But generally we have to look there where we are and take on the challenges to finally get to the goal where we need to go. So surrendering or fighting is not or, it can be both, surrender and fight, or fight and surrender.
Yeah.
Okay, satisfied?
Satisfied.
More or less. Go on with your challenges. That's what life is about. Otherwise, you know what? It would be horribly boring if we have no more challenges, right?
Not a still life.
Yeah, you don't want that. I don't want that either. So people who are really alive, they honor challenges. The other people who don't, they are so much in their slavedom, in their the sleepers, you know, they are so much asleep that they even cannot face a challenge. Their only challenge is just to get up in the morning, go to work, and that's it. But we have a little bit different challenges here too.
Okay.
Okay, good. So another question that was very interesting to talk about, right? Okay, so thank you very much for the question. And those who were looking at our video, please, if you like it, give us a thumbs up. And we look forward to see you again. I wish you a good weekend and bye-bye for now.